All right, so the USA men's basketball team made their Olympic debut yesterday. They played Serbia and beat them 110 to 84. So, Trevon, what are your thoughts on that game yesterday? And how do you feel about Team USA moving forward?
Yeah, I don't think this game alters any type of pre-idea that I had about this team. I think that they were coming in as the number one team. They were coming in as the targeted opponent or targeted team for everybody. Everybody's gunning for Team USA. We understand the magnitude of the Olympics and what it means bringing all of these top tier players together. Embiid was talking earlier in some interviews talking about, we have these players, we have LeBron, KD, Steph, but they're older guys. They're not exactly the same how they used to be, but nobody cares about that. And regardless, even though that is true to some degree, they still should win. I don't think this is a case where you're going to see them blow teams out. These are a lot of NBA guys. Serbia had some players that played in the NBA that I honestly forgot about. Micic, I believe, is point guard. He spent some time at OKC and with the Charlotte Hornets towards the end of the season. Bogdanovich. We obviously know about Jokic. I forgot about Nikola Jovic, or
Nikola Jovic, yeah,
yeah, he plays
plays for the
for the
Heat.
Heat. So there's a lot of guys, and then even then they had guys that played. One player played at Tennessee, so they played over against American competition. So this is steep competition, not to mention Canada and those guys. Like, these are NBA caliber players that they're going to be facing, so it's not going to be blowouts by any means at all. But Team USA should win. I thought it was very encouraging to see just the emotion from a guy like LeBron, who is obviously the captain. He's the oldest player in the league, obviously oldest player in this team, one of the most experienced. He went out there and was leading the Team USA, all of the USA, with holding the flag, and people calling him Captain L'America and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, it's just good to see his emotion. He had a tough layup there, and you could just tell he's locked in. And seeing Kevin Durant come back, and it's no surprise, but at the same time, we're just still in awe and amazed to see how efficient he can be coming back from injury. Like, he looks like he never missed any time off. And I think just seeing a lot of these guys engaged was encouraging to see, because Team USA, one thing about them has came out in a lot of slow starts, even going back to those exhibition games. And it honestly leaves that window of opportunity for teams to kind of just get in there and really take advantage of that. If they do that with the wrong team, then let's say if they do that with Canada, you could very well lose a game like that if you let them get off to an easy hot start. We saw what they did against South Sudan, who they play on Wednesday next. So they've shown some vulnerable parts, but by no doubt should they not be the favorites to win this whole Olympics and get that gold medal back to the US. One last thing I'll say is I think Team USA does have a kind of weakness against teams that can spread you out and shoot the three and aren't as big, aren't as centered around like a big man. When they have perimeter presence that's gonna shoot from the three and really threat you from outside, I think that's where we'll see them struggle. They played Serbia in the exhibition that had a similar outcome, started off pretty slow. Serbia was playing hard, and USA just pulled away by sheer depth of the team. And Serbia is like a bigger, taller team that's not as mobile and not as perimeter centric. But South Sudan, Canada, Australia, those are teams they struggled against. So I want to see them play against those type teams that have a similar showing like this for me to really feel like there's no type of worry. But obviously, until they do that, they're still the favorites. But there are some question marks they do leave you to kind of wonder about.
Yeah, Team USA is definitely the favorite, but one thing about this Olympics and honestly just watching international basketball as a whole, the rest of the world has caught up to the USA in some sort of
For sure.
capacity. The USA is still the best team if you look at from top to bottom and their roster, but when you look across the rest of the countries, there are multiple countries with multiple NBA players on their team.
Yeah.
So, I like what Anthony Davis said after the game. I believe it was after the game yesterday when he said we have to play almost a perfect game in order to beat these teams because those teams are that good. It's not
Yeah.
like back in previous years when Team USA was head and shoulders above everyone else. The rest of the world has caught up. So I want to
Mhm.
put that in perspective for everyone that Team USA is still the best team, especially from top to bottom, all the talent that we have on the team. But when you look across the other countries, they have talent too. They have NBA level talent as well. And those teams, they've had more time to play together. And usually those teams stick together for longer amounts of time. Whereas the USA, they just kind of throw the best players on a team and they have less than 30 days to get ready for the Olympics or the World Cup games or whatever the case may be. So just putting that in perspective. But from the game yesterday, I really enjoyed watching it. Number one, I'm glad the Olympics are back. I'm enjoying watching the Olympics, but
Yeah.
specifically the game with the USA men's basketball team and Serbia. We got out to a slow start, and I think that starting lineup it is tough because like you mentioned, we've gotten out to slow starts, especially in the exhibition games. But once AD and Bam get into the game and the players off the bench, once they start going, that's when the team starts getting into a flow and getting into a rhythm.
For
And I want
sure.
to shout out Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker specifically because I think, obviously Kevin Durant was amazing. He was great coming off of a injury and then coming straight in off the bench and doing what he did, not missing a shot until the fourth quarter. That was crazy. And then
Yeah.
obviously LeBron, he's amazing doing what he's doing at this age. But
Hmm.
I think the unsung heroes is really Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Derek White. I think those are the guys that are the connecting pieces
Yeah.
that make the team go because they are playing defense. They are being ball movers when the ball is being swung. They get into the lane and make plays. They are the guys that are setting screens, or they are the guys that are playing off the ball and understanding how to play off of those top tier talented guys. So and they're top tier talent as well. But I think those are the guys that really make this team go because everybody can't have the ball in their hands. Everybody can't be the guy that the team runs the offense through. So I think those guys being connective pieces are great. Also, Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo, especially their defense and their ability to catch and finish and make plays at the big man spot. I think those guys are really doing a great job in being connective pieces and making the team flow. Anthony Edwards, we all know he's one of the better creators on the team as well, and his ability to score the basketball. So he's also a spark plug. But I think once those guys come in the game, that's when you start seeing the Team USA get a rhythm. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how we progress down the line, especially with the different lineups. From my perspective, it looks like we're still figuring out exactly the lineups that we need as
Mhm.
this Olympic period progresses. But based off of the exhibition games and based off of the first game, I think those guys that I named are the ones that are going to get us into a rhythm, and we have to figure out how to match our guys together in different lineups that is going to sustain us throughout the rest of the Olympics.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Steve Kerr, I think this is the first time I really felt like Steve Kerr was throwing out lineups that he probably actually believes in. I think he really was trying to use those exhibitions as time to get Embiid acclimated and everybody acclimated to Embiid because you could see everybody willing to give Embiid the ball, give him his touches. We see LeBron give him an entry pass. Like LeBron would be at the top top of the key, and B would be on the right block for some reason. LeBron would throw it from the top of the key. Like they're making it a point to get it to him. And that's typically not the type of entry pass you want to make to the post, but they're all kind of on board with getting him those touches. And I think
Yeah.
Embiid's getting a little bit better at making the right decision. He did a few dribble handoffs and kind of deferred to the, jab and foul grifting and mid-range pull up and stuff like that. So I think it is a lot of wonky stuff with Embiid with those specific guys starting. But I think Kerr did a really good job. Like he played Bam and AD for extended minutes. I felt like he was pretty much convinced to play them together every minute. We saw him kind of go away from that this game. He had Bam in there at the five by himself sometimes. He had AD in at the five by himself sometimes. I think this is the most versatile span of lineups that we've seen. And part of it was probably due to Curry having those early foul troubles, but I think he really kind of got to experiment and really see some possible lineups they can do